Good morning. Welcome to week 2 of Disciple Bible Study. This week you've been reading about, studying about, and we'll be talking about creation. And I'd just like to pause for a minute and say, if you were here last week and saw the video and I was wearing the same shirt, it's not that I wear this shirt once a week. We actually made more than one of these videos on the same day. So we do have a washing machine, and I promise next time I will wear a different color of shirt. But the creation story is a wonderful story. It is God's account and the people's account of where we came from, that God made all of these things. One of the things that will surely come up today is the discussion between the different views about the 7 days of creation. Are they to be taken as literal 24-hour days, or are they to be understood in some other way, some figurative way? And I would offer a few thoughts to you on that. First of all, we have to be careful when we read the scripture of pressing God into human thinking. And when we say that this must be 24 hours, part of what we're saying is, this is how I understand it as a human, so this must be the way it is. A few months ago we had a sermon on this, and someone mentioned to me after service that he thought that a year on, or a day on Venus was 42 days or 44 days. And so the question is, when the scripture talks about a day, is a day in God's mind an earth day? A day on Venus? There are a lot of different ways to look at it. In fact, there are so many different ways. Feel welcome to listen to the ideas and land on that which is the most comforting and helpful to you. Something also to note about the concept of 7 literal days. And, you know, I'm okay with 7 literal days. If I die and go to heaven and God says those were 7 literal 24-hour earth days, I'm not going to argue. That's going to be great. But as you read the account in Genesis, light and darkness aren't divided until day and night. The sun and the moon aren't set in the sky until day 4. So the first 3 days exist without the things that we use to measure days. So what does that tell us? I don't know. It's just very easy for Christians to become dogmatic and insistent about things that we need to be pretty careful about because we don't know near as much as we would like to think. And again, the goal of reading the scripture isn't to answer every single question that we have about life in the Bible, but the goal of reading the scripture is that we would be drawn closer to our Father. I want to tell you a story that I found very helpful over the years about creation that helps me just kind of put it together in my mind, something that I have felt comfortable with. Let's say, for example, that you and me, we are assigned by God to create a world. And we're given all the necessary powers, and we are going to go set out to create a world. How would we do it? On the first day when we created things, would we only make brand new things? For example, would all grass be seed? Would all trees be seedlings? Would frogs be tadpoles? Or would we make all the generations of creation? So if we created dogs, would we just make puppies? Or would we make moms to care for the puppies, and even old dogs that you can't teach new tricks, I guess? When we made trees, would we make a forest with lots of different sizes and kinds of trees? Well, I think we would. Maybe even some decaying trees with mushrooms on them, you know. If we were making rocks, would all the rocks be new? Would they be carbon tested, dated to year 1? Or would we create a world that had layers and history and ideas? Maybe even create a world with fossils in it. We might. And if you and I can think like that, then maybe God thinks like that. And so I have every respect for science and our scientific community, but I just know that God's ways are higher than ours, and there are so many things that God could have been about that I just want to pause in wonder at the glory and joy of creation and not think that I have to have every piece of it figured out. In fact, I think you're going there in your lesson today as you read Psalm 8 and as you read the ending of the book of Job about the mysterious, amazing wonder of God. This is the message of joy of being a Christ follower, that as we come to know our Father in a greater way, there's this awesome sense of mystery that we are lost in a God that is bigger than we are, and what a blessing this is. What a hope in this life with so many fears and worries and concerns and hurt that we have, that we go to a God that is immense and giant and amazing, and is beyond our understanding. So thanks for being here tonight. That's video number 2 on creation. God bless you and have a great class.